So welcome to the Node.js Node API team meeting for March 21st, 2021. Yeah, Nicola as well. And we will go through our standard approach of looking at what we've got tagged for the agenda. Before we get started, are there any announcements that people would like to share?
Yeah, we released the Node.js API version 3.2.0 on Monday. So yeah, I won't just make this announcement.
Great. Yeah, thank you very much for doing that. It's great to have that one. Has been a little while, so it's good to have a new release out.
Awesome.
Any other announcements? Okay, if not, let's flip over to.
One more.
Go ahead.
One more announcement.
Yep, go for it.
Kevin and I completed our recording, and we have submitted the video.
Great. So anybody who's been trying to keep up on the activities of the Node API team, there will be a talk at OpenJS World. That's a great point to make. And so that's one of the talks that would be good if you wanted to check out. So I will flip over to our list of agenda items. And it sounds like you've just checked off the first one, which is talk submission for OpenJS World. I guess this one we should basically say, recording is submitted.
Yeah.
I think we can close this one out. Sounds good. Okay. Okay, so the next thing is any stale issues. I don't remember adding any, and I don't see that anybody else added any to that list to discuss. So I think there's nothing there. Yep, sorry, go ahead.
We have two new issues on Node.js API that I won't discuss.
Okay, let's flip over to take a look at those. Which two are they?
The last two, memory leak and add-on built using an API. So starting from here, the 1002.
Okay. Yeah, that one looks important.
Yeah, because if you see at the bug reported on the here, apparently maybe we are exporting some extra symbol, but I don't know. So essentially, what I understood is that they compiled the native add-on using GCC 6.3 and all worked. But using the GCC 10, the native add-on does not work. And now they have, okay, so if you go below on okay, there is this symbol _back that is removed in GCC 10. But yeah, it's not a symbol that we exported by the core of Node. Is it right?
Right. I don't think so. Look like anything that I'm familiar with.
So I guess this is the price you pay for using C++.
Yeah.
It's not ABI stable. It's terrible. You would think that they'd be ABI stable. Because why would they remove a symbol? It's just, yeah, it's not one of ours, definitely. But I
So
mean,
it's, however, Node 16 built with GCC does not, 10 does not, right? So
yeah, export these symbols. But why are we not linking to the standard library? Why are we trying to get the symbol from Node and not from libstdc++.so?
yeah, like that doesn't.
It's interesting.
So existed in GCC 6.3 and deleted in 10. So I think that sounds like it was compiled in GCC 6.3. So
if you try to load the same add-on compiled with GCC 6.3, you get an error at runtime on node 16 because it's compiled with against GCC 10. Is it right?
well, I think it's because they're trying to run the add-on with GCC 10. So it's not that.
Well, not,
like the runtime that's available in their environment is GCC 10, right?
oh, that's possible. So okay, so if libstdc++.so had symbols removed from one version of GCC to another, then they broke API.
Right.
I saw on Twitter other people that say
complained about the same symbols.
Yeah, the same thing. That every time we have a major release of ZCC, they broke the API. But yeah.
Right.
Well, one possible solution is to just not use the standard library in our headers, unless we can be certain that what we're using is not a library function, but rather just an inline header of C++. It may make it a lot less convenient to write this code and to maintain this code, but it may be the only option if C++ breaks ABI. I mean, that's really pulling the carpet out from under us.
But is it a problem only for the Node API, not for
no, it's a problem for. I mean, it's a problem for everybody, right? I mean, you saw on Twitter, right? But we, unlike everybody else, we do claim to be API stable, right? And we do strive to be API stable. And so if C++ is making us less stable than we wish to be, then we cannot use C++.
So what is the mplace? What is that symbol? I use the real GCC 10, Node 10 app fails. The Node 10 app fails, or what's that?
Yeah. So this thing like a vector in place back. It's part of a vector standard library.
Yeah.
And actually it can be add-on itself, which may be compiled against this library SO file. We've seen it in the past, like GCC changing the SO files, standard library files, and whatever code compiled against GCC kind of dynamic libs effectively breaks to run. So recommendation which would do kind of some internal groups using static libraries, static linking instead of dynamic linking to avoid these issues.
Right. Yeah, that's an interesting point. I guess the question is like this in place back, is it something that we trigger being included or not?
I'm checking.
Okay.
Okay, git grep -n capital H in place back is not, we don't make use of in place back.
Okay.
So in this case, that one symbol is not. What's the other one? There were several. Is there another one we might be using? Okay, so there's a list here. So in place back, two of them. They're both in, okay, all three are in place back. They're just different sort of mangling of it. So, okay, so then we don't use in place back. So this is coming from the add-on itself, not from us.
But this says
in
that GCC 10 exports these things, which while GCC 6 doesn't export them.
Okay, weird. Oh,
So
okay, wait a minute. Oh, okay.
But then here it says it was existed only in 6.3 and deleted in 10.2.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's confusing.
Yeah. Either way, we're not using in place back.
Right. Fusion. Here's some other one, char traits or basic string, the demangler. Our Node 8 to Node 14 builds built with GCC export these as weak symbols. I don't know why. So it's something, the main, from the main executable.
So it sounds like we're not actually, okay, we're not actually linking against the standard C++ library, but we're getting these symbols from Node. And if Node was built with a newer version of C++, it no longer provides these, or with a newer version of G++, it no longer provides these symbols. But yeah, I think static linking might be the way to go.
So you can set on binding zip the lib C++ that you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you know we need to change our recommendation, right? Because we have this like boilerplate binding.zip, and I think we need to change our recommendation.
We have this recommendation for Mac OS, and now it's the same for Linux essentially. So.
Oh, we okay. So we're already recommending static linking for OS 10.
I don't remember well.
Let's find out. Where was that documentation?
In setup. Oh.
Setup. There it is. Wait, what? The heck? Oh, here it is.
Installation and usage, and okay, there isn't the.
Yeah, here it is.
So it's std vector in place back is the.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have two
chance
snippets
that
here.
Something like in V8 uses that?
But we wouldn't be linking against that, right?
No,
so
yeah, you're right. Yep, correct.
Yeah, I think we need a snippet here that says, you know, link it statically for extra stability. Of course, that's going to make add-ons a lot larger size-wise because they're going to include the holes. Well, actually, no, not necessarily. I'm not sure. Is the linker able to sort of break apart like a static archive and only grab the stuff that is actually being called? Because I know it does that for object files. I don't know if it grabs archives wholesale and just sort of glues them on the end of the executable.
There is some of that. Like if you use like on RHEL based systems, if you use the developer toolset, it does the opposite. So if you compile on an older system and you used GCC 10, it will provide static versions of things that weren't in the runtime on the older system.
Okay.
But that's kind of the reverse, right? This is more like you're like, hey, give me static things of only things where they broke the ABI of the C++ compiler.
No. What I mean is what I mean is if you add like libs std c++.a to the list of object files that you wish to link into your execute or into your node
yes.
add-on, right? Then is it going to open up that archive and trace all the unresolved symbols from all the objects essentially, and transfer only those symbols to the final add-on that were actually being used out of the archive? So does it sort of cherry pick?
Yeah, I don't think it links the whole .a. It just includes the pieces you need.
I sincerely hope so, because libs std c++.a is probably not a small thing.
Yeah, but it's still like, yeah, statically linking against that whole thing is not super recommended.
Well, I mean, it's not bad, right? Like, well, what other choice do we have?
Security fixes and stuff like that, but
that's right. That's a good point. Yeah. So yeah, that's a great point actually.
I guess like here it would be interesting to know where, like, what's causing that to be used.
Well, I mean, you know, the larger add-on probably uses it. I mean, people use the standard library pretty liberally, right? And they don't expect such breakage.
Because we should have the same problem in our test with node 16.
Because we do use it. No, wait, we don't. We don't use in place back. I mean, I just grabbed the whole repo.
Yeah, we don't use. So it's not a problem of node.js API or the node API. It's in this native add-on that they are using in place back.
That's kind of our current understanding.
Yep.
So we can reproduce something, creating a simple native add-on and use place back, and see if we have the same problem on node 16.
Right.
So it's a way to investigate the problem.
Right. Okay. Simple add-on that uses emplace back. And so it's std vector place back, right? Is that the one?
I was wondering what was my change there, but in place back can be removed because it's one part of the standard. But I believe what happened lately, this some of these collection methods became const expression, and I wonder if what actually changed that method was not removed, but signature changed because of this const expression addition. Most likely, what happened. And if it's const expression part of the signature, it's a mangled name effectively. But in any case, this binary ABI kind of libstd ABI kind of was broken as a part of it.
Right.
I wonder if add-ons have an option to always use old version of with standard library instead. I don't know if Linux allows to do it.
There are multiple. You can have, I think, multiple versions of the C++ standard library, but your LDD has to be declared such. So like yeah. Chances are, if you built on an older system, then your LDD will point to like libstd c++.so.5 instead of .so.6, and so it will request that shared library by name. And so on the new system, if you have them both, then it'll work.
It's probably another suggestion. If we don't want people to use static linkings, and maybe there is a way to kind of say that for the future compatibility, the kind of add-ons must always point to the same version of standard library.
Let me do an LDD.
Maybe.
Well, okay. So I just checked, and ours points to libstd c++.so.6, right? So that's a pretty wide swath of versions. So if the contents of libstd c++.so.6 changes in a breaking fashion, then they are violating the contract, because then it should be called libstd c++.so.7. So you know, I think it's a mistake on G++'s side, and it's as simple as that. Because that's the convention with SO names, is if you make a breaking change, you need to change the major version of the SO.
Right, but I wonder, is it a case where the fact that like Node itself has been compiled with one and gets loaded first is resulting in the issue, or?
Well, the thing is, I just checked, like I did an LDD on our test bindings, right? And they depend directly on libstd c++.so.6. So the symbols should be coming from libstd c++.so.6, because dlopen first loads all the dependent DLLs before attempting to find the symbols in the global namespace. And I don't believe Node exports these symbols. Let me double check.
Well, they kind of said something about Node re-exporting the in-place back.
And then not. So
it said something like this: for some reason, these symbols are being imported and re-exported from the main executable by db2i.node. This works because our Node 8 to Node 14 built with GCC export these as weak symbols.
Well, as weak symbol, how can you export something as a weak symbol? Wait a minute. I mean, you import something as a weak symbol and then you leave open the possibility that it's null, but exporting it as a weak symbol, like basically saying if it's not there, then use mine. Let me see that. So then nm minus AV node.
This is also.
As far as I can tell, we don't export anything from the standard library. I just did an nm minus
Right.
AV on node, and I searched for std, and we have like node : stdio, but that's node.
Right. So this may be a specific thing to AIX or IBMI.
Oh, is that where it's happening?
Yeah, I know that the IBM, like this IDB connector. So IDB connector would this be on that, or would this be on? This team is definitely the IBMI team.
Yeah, it's a connector for DB2. It's a
right.
database.
Yeah, it says IBMI version 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is something that runs on AIX?
IBMI, which is actually a flavor of AIX.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I see.
in the binding JIP there is a condition for AIX. So yeah.
And which version did you look at, Gabriel?
Oh, just whatever I had on master.
But what is it? Well, because that's like, it basically says they're not there in 10, but they are there in 6, right? So that would be the, I guess master's using GCC 8 now.
Oh, wait a minute. They're there in 6? Like node
if
6?
you use GCC 6, no, if you use GCC 6, which was basically, we said that was, it depends. Actually, for different platforms, we use different GCC versions.
Yeah, do you remember?
But 6 was the minimum.
Yeah.
We only switched the minimum. We switched the minimum in this version to up to 8. However, we were already using 8 for a number of releases. So we'd have to look at what's being, like here, I can figure it out. Hold on. Build. If I look at the version selector, scripts version selector.
I don't know. I can just download Node 12. That's probably old enough.
Yeah, that would go for that one. So if I look at oh no, it's not. I need select compiler even going to give it to me? Oops. I don't know.
/std. Okie dokie. Let's see if we export any std symbols. Node native module. Node stdio. Nope, not in 12. Nothing is coming from Node, at least.
Can you see which stdc++ it seems to use?
Well, it's just going to say libstdc++.so.6, I suspect. But
okay, so that .6 doesn't map the GCC version. I guess not.
No, I could probably. Yeah, I could probably. Well, no, I'm
just wondering if we can tell which one it was compiled with from that.
Oh no, I don't think I can.
Okay, so here let me look at the scripts again. So version selector. How are we? Jenkins scripts. Actually, no. That needs to be in version selector. So let's see, dev tool set. Do we have x86 in here? Okay, here we go, x86. So GCC 4.6, okay. So version selector. I'm just trying to see if I can now tell from the version selector. X80. No, Linux. So it looks like greater than 10. Greater than or equal to 10, we build on 6. 12 looks like it builds on less than 12. CentOS 64. No, that's not telling me. Okay, I'm not, unfortunately, it's not obvious from this either, which it is.
Well, for what it's worth, Node 10 doesn't do it
expose
either.
it either.
No.
Okay, so I think 10 we definitely still used 6. How about actually try 8? If you, is there an easy way to try 8? Because that would basically, I'm like 99% sure about 9, about 8 using 6. Yeah, actually 8 was GCC 4, 9 or newer. So 10 is probably 6. And actually, let me just see. Maybe I can even figure that out from the release CI.
But I think like this issue is not related to Node API itself. It's pretty much what the saying is node.js was used to export with re-export with symbols.
Yeah.
And now like new version does not re-export it, and whatever add-on was actually using them stopped to work.
Right.
It's not even standard library. It's more like re-exporting symbols. It's very interesting.
The thing was that across platforms or just on the one platform too would be interesting to understand. Is the like that's where if it doesn't, we looked at Linux and on, you said on Node 10.
Yep. Yeah, I looked at 10 and 12 and it's not exporting anything of the sort.
Okay, so the net is we don't think that these are used, that these are used in, discuss the meeting, there seems to be confusion. Okay, symbols, like it is symbols from Node.js which are outside the Node API that are being used in addition to used by the add-on that are the issue. So I think we've used a fair amount of time. I think I should post this comment and we can continue to discuss in the issue. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, and you said there was another one, Nicola, we should look at?
Yeah, it's a memory leak issue.
Oops, sorry, I think I may have just pasted this in the wrong. I just want to post this as,
right.
Let me just do this, sorry. I just want to go back to here and just,
yeah.
Right, so we remember this part, okay. So yeah, the other one was the first one, right?
Yeah. I just saw the issue 1 hour ago. I didn't have the time to see.
Right, okay.
Yeah, we have investigated similar issue in our products. What happens at a std thread implementation in libccc has some kind of optimization. So instead of creating a thread from scratch, like going to operating system all the time, new implementations using the thread pool. So most probably what they see, it's so the never like std thread get released. It does not actually release from the kind of from the memory. And I had tons of similar bug reports for my libraries.
Can you comment in on that? You just comment that, like make that comment on the issue, and
I wonder if it's related to the fact that implementation itself of std thread, which I didn't read the issue itself. It just sounds very familiar.
Right, it's like, you know, std thread is nothing to do with Node API, right?
Right. It's so the point I'm trying to make, like std thread kind of leaks memory on with IIS, pretty much in anything which using libc++, whatever, like Clang standard C++ library.
Right.
Because they optimize it and to use thread pool instead of using. So technically, when std thread is created, it creates a system thread, but then it's actually destroyed. It does not destroy system thread, but instead it actually keeps it in the pool. So next time new std thread created, it's kind of trying to reuse it. So it's more like internals.
But then if I create 59,263 threads, then the memory should grow to 59,263 threads, but then it should shrink back to the size of the thread pool when I'm done using them, right?
Probably yes. But this one was because our kind of testing suite was always kind of checking this memory leaks, and we had tons of memory leaks because of this new behavior. And been introduced not recently, it was like 1 or 2 years ago. It's kind of just brings the bell. I've seen similar issue before. Unless it's related somehow to an API related code, I don't know.
I mean, basically it says here the thread in their code, like this std thread is here, right? Like, so basically they've got a method which they ask to start a thread with std thread, right?
Right. And
so
then they join
that's
it.
not Node API. Yeah, and then they say, okay, we wait for it to be finished. But it's basically saying on shutdown, thread memory that was allocated in this call, which is thread demo method.
Right.
It is passing that thread, like that's basically in this call here that says, okay, this I guess you're passing it a lambda function.
Yeah, it's just passing lambda, but if lambda has no capture, effectively just it's like static function.
Right.
So technically, there's zero allocation goes on here.
Yeah.
From perspective of C++ lambda
yeah.
allocation and stuff. But internally, std thread allocates some thread resources, and actually, it's what causing this issue.
Right.
But it's
so it doesn't free them when the program exits. That's terrible.
Not the program exit. If you look on the code, what they're doing inside of adding, right? Like they're saying that
right.
instead of this function, so they kind of in the beginning function they start to monitor, and the end of function they stop monitoring, but thread resource is still around, so they'll probably free it later.
Oh, I see. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So it's, I mean, yeah, it's the way they use this. Like, okay, so they consider it a leak, but it's only a leak during the capture interval that they have chosen, right? I mean, it's a leak if you run the program for 59 hours and memory usage keeps on increasing until it hits the killer, right?
Right.
So that's a leak. This is not a leak. This is too pedantic of a check.
Right. You could try starting, stopping many threads.
If you like, they're doing caching, like they cache kind of pool of assistant threads, because it sounds like it's quite expensive resource to create and destroy all the time. So technically, libc++ optimizes it.
It says only macOS has the leak, right?
No, it's a libc++. It can be
right.
It can be Windows. It's as long as they're using this Clang standard library.
But it actually said they've tested on Windows, Debian, macOS, and only Mac shows it.
Yeah, this is just libc++ internals.
Right. So they basically macOS has decided to do some caching, probably.
No, libc++, not Mac.
Sure. But it's like not happening on Debian 9. So whatever the Debian 9 implementation doesn't necessarily do the same thing.
Oh, I see.
I think the real solution here, I mean, if they really wanted to see a leak, is to add a library constructor that starts the process of monitoring and add a library destructor that stops the process of monitoring, right? Because then that's the bracket that you want to examine, right? Like process startup, process shutdown. And if at that point there's anything, then it may still show a leak, because the C++ standard library may have like an end of process hook that frees the thread pool, and then it's just a matter of which hook runs first. So
right,
it's kind of hard to catch if like an internal library does something.
But if you basically repeated that same thing 1,000 times, you wouldn't expect 1,000 times this memory leak, right?
No, it will be just some kind of fixed thread pool. Like so, technically, they just doing caching, and it's internals of libc++.
But like, yeah. So there should be like an increase, and then that should plateau off. And then it should stay there no matter how many threads you create, because every other thread is going to be like created and destroyed and created and destroyed.
Right. And the recommendation here could be, instead of doing it as a node extension, node module, they could try to do just console applications. They will see exactly the same results in any type of application.
Right. Yeah. You could also yeah, so this we don't think this is related to node. basically, that's how's that comment look?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. Okay. Any other new issues that we should talk about? I think there's still more there to move on. The one on Node.js API. So Nicola, I guess, were you planning to do now like a 4.0 release as well?
And what we need to remove from?
I think really the only thing we wanted to change was Node 10. Let's see, the earliest, latest, no, oldest. Right. Okay. So I think this is what we want to change in the 4.0 version.
Okay,
so maybe we changed it in the 3.x version instead, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we want to back that out, and like in the 3.x stream, it was like, because it's people making change, that was why we want to do it in the 4.01 only, and then like all future releases will be 4.x going forward. So I would say we just do like we back that change out in the 3.x branch if we have one. All we really want is the npm README to be updated. It's kind of a pain to have to republish.
Yeah, we need to make a new version 3.3.0.
Yeah.
And I revert this change. So and then I can publish a new version 4 where okay, but I'm thinking about on our zip file, no, where we okay.
Sorry, one of these, right? Like,
yeah, node_API zip. So correct me if I'm wrong, but we have these only for support the 8th version, or not?
Sorry, say that again. I didn't quite follow.
So we have these things only to support Node.js version 8.
Well, we don't. Oh, so these aren't needed for, you mean for later versions?
I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Check also index.js.
Yeah, and yes. So we can remove include. Essentially, you don't need to set the zip on includes in your binding zip, and we can remove the include. So because and use only include _dir.
Right. So, yeah. If it's only needed for older versions of Node, then yeah. Those.
So if we with version 4 we guarantee the support of Node.js 12 and above, so we can take the chance to remove these themes.
Yep, definitely.
So I prepare. Go, Gabriel.
I was just gonna say pretty much everything can be removed here except include dir. Like include can be removed, JIP is Node API built in, can be removed. We don't need that check anymore. And needs flag, false, we can remove that. But I mean, that might be a little drastic, but you know what I mean? Like we could maybe deprecate it in 4, remove it in 5, just to be gentle, but honestly, nothing here is needed anymore. Like we're way
what's
past
the downside of removing them?
Well, I mean, if there's some ancient module whose JIP file still relies on these things, then that's going to fail to build.
Right, if they're building with a really old version of Node.
No, not that. If they're building with a brand new version of Node, but their JIP file hasn't been updated to not rely on these things anymore.
Okay, right. Well, in that case, like I would just be tempted to leave them.
Yeah, I guess they do no harm. But
right, they do no harm, and it can break people. I'd say, like, why break people?
But then that's true for the JIP key as well.
I would just leave them then.
Yeah.
So what do I need to remove? So include and is Node API built-in, needs flag, and I can leave JIP, or I can remove JIP.
No, the idea is not to remove anything because they do no harm, right? And you know, if anybody is still using them, even though they do nothing, then you know we are breaking people unnecessarily if we remove them, right? So this doesn't add any size. It doesn't slow down performance. It's really just no ops. Everything's a no op here, pretty much, except for the include dir. So it doesn't. I mean, if we wanted to be super pedantic, we could remove it, but there's really no need.
Yeah, I think
right?
I think we should just leave it as is. If it's going to break somebody, let's leave it as is because there's no cost, not much anyway.
Yeah,
so,
we're not maintaining this.
No.
Okay, so I need to republish the last version 3.3.0, and then I publish the new 4 with only these changes already.
Right. Although,
okay.
So I think you may have to, like, you'll have to publish a new dot point. Like, you can't republish an existing version, right? I think you'll just have to publish a newer version, and in that it can be like clarifying. It's clarifying that we didn't mean to. We weren't saying the support for that one was being removed, although it's that line is no longer going to be maintained.
Yeah,
like
I need to check. Could you? Yeah, it's not possible to republish.
Yeah, so I think it's just like, you know, we'll publish a 3.2.1 that says
right,
that has that changed, and then there'll be a 4 that has it says, yeah, okay, no, you can't use it with the.
But Michael, could you go on package JSON on node.js
Sure.
API?
Yep.
I remember that we removed the documentation, but I don't know if so files tools.
Just looking here. It's like I don't think we don't have any engines or anything like that in here, so.
No, okay, I need to republish. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, no problem. Okay. So on that one, sounds like we're on track. We only have a few more minutes left, so I guess, is there any other issues that we should talk about?
Not an issue, but kind of just question I have in general. As I kind of look into is implementing unit tests for Node API. One of the issue kind of trying to put my head around is actually how to build V8 using CMake. I found a couple of different approaches. One of them I'm trying to use is using some kind of Python scripts to initialize and do other stuff, and actually running GN to compile V8. But my question is, do you guys know anything better how to build V8 using CMake?
Did we say we were going to build V8 with CMake? I thought the last time we talked about it is like we said we should just build V8 with whatever it was being built with today, which is GN, right?
Yes, definitely. We'd better do GN, but I mean, like, we need to effectively, the whole kind of process will be CMake, and at some point we need to from CMake jump to GN, do some stuff, and consume it back. So technically, I guess any kind of good recommendations, and
I think CMake has like has a way of creating like custom targets, right? Like you can use like custom commands. Like if you want to generate C code, for example, then you basically use a shell script inside the CMake lists file, right? And then you use a custom target, and the custom target has like declared inputs and declared outputs, right? And so what you would do basically is you would say like, inputs, deps/v8/star/star or something like that. And outputs would be, dep/v8/build/release/libv8.so, right? And then the command would be whatever it needs to be to build V8. So like, I think you need a custom target from CMake to do that.
Yeah, I understand that. Like, I just, in case if somebody did this successfully. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I posted a link, and you can find, it's a project where they use CMake to build V8, I think.
Yeah, that was an earlier attempt. I doubt that works. And I don't think that's quite like that was actually trying to convert from GN to CMake itself for being built into Node, I think. I could be wrong on that one, but I know that that Ben had worked a bit on that.
Oh yeah, that seems complicated. Like to try to actually build it with CMake in terms of like replacing the build system. Yeah. It's much bigger. Like I'm just talking about like add custom command. Like the CMake has this macro called add custom command, and here's an example I'm using. Let me just paste that. It's not for V8, but it's basically maybe relevant. Let me see. Where's the chat? Hello, there you are.
Oh, I understand custom commands. Yeah. And I posted another link, which I'm currently using. Look at this approach. It's much better because it's just it's pretty much does what you're saying, that but it just have very small Python scripts which does all the stuff.
Yeah.
Experiencing some issues with it. I think it's the best approach what I found so far. I was just simply asking if somebody already did this end-to-end and have better recommendations. This is what I have found so far.
No.
And I'm pursuing. I have bugs there. Something does not compile the way I want. But
no, I'm sorry. I certainly don't have an example.
Okay.
No. I think the other thing worth mentioning is Gabriel did submit a PR to fix up some of the node tests as we discussed to make the names consistent and so forth. So I don't think that's quite landed yet, has it? Or maybe, I can't remember.
Let me double check.
Did I landed a few things, but I can't remember if that one was quite ready to land or not.
And another question I had, I also tried to do this building node.js itself, because I have this another bug I want to fix.
Yep.
And then I run all these tests. It seems like most of them don't run on Windows at all. I can run JS, whatever, like a Node API tests, but it seems like a lot of tests in Parallels folder, which just simply fail to run on Windows.
We run them in every...
some tests are only kind of supposed to run on Linux, not on Windows?
We run them all on Windows during every CI, and like there's specific excludes. So we, if we had ones that didn't run on Windows, they would be in the exclude files and shouldn't run when you actually ran.
I see.
So yeah, that sounds to me like probably an environment-y kind of thing.
For what it's worth, the PR has landed.
Okay, I might, yeah, I landed a few, I wasn't sure, so that
Yeah,
one,
you
that
did,
one's
yeah.
good. Okay. Like, because if we look here, we've got CI in the node test commit Windows. Where are we? Now it is in the CI, at least it's done as more of a, so here's the link if you wanted to go see the tests running. It is done in a build and then run separately step. Because Windows, I guess, isn't quite fast enough to machines we have, but they all should be running.
Oh, interesting.
Michael, I didn't get the thing that you pasted to the chat.
Oh, sorry, I just did it to, somehow it defaults to the last person who posted something. So that's the,
There we go.
so yeah, all of them should run. Unfortunately, fewer people in the project build on Windows, so it's a little harder to find somebody who does that regularly. I don't know if anybody here build on Windows regularly.
Nope, can't say that I do.
So most developers doing on Linux, I guess. So
Yeah.
I see.
Yep.
OS X, I think, is probably the most popular, and then Linux is probably the second most popular.
Let me try to do it in Mac then.
Yeah.
I really care about this couple of issues, and actually one issue so far in Node API.
Okay.
I want to have
Yep,
submit
sounds
bug
good.
report and along with kind of pull request, but yeah.
It might be, I think some people have also reported, like if you use WSL, it may be easier because you can basically effectively run it under Linux, right?
Yeah.
I'm fine. I have a few Macs.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The Mac would work well. So. Okay. So we're over time. Any other things we should cover before we close out this week? I guess I'm actually off next Friday. So Gabriel, can you chair next time?
Sure, can do.
Okay. We'll talk to everybody later.
Yep, talk to you later.
Thanks.
Bye.
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 Bye.